Greetings, my Halloween geeks. Welcome back to day 2 of our Halloween countdown. 31 films in 31 days. 4th year. Tonight we watched The Rite by directed by Michael Hafstrom. It stars Anthony Hopkins, Colin O'Donoghue, Rutger Hauer. Oh, I can't remember her name. And Alice Braga. And it's about the Catholic Church and exorcisms. It's
basically a story about a young man who's quite good looking, who goes into the priesthood, or he's got 2 choices, hasn't he? Yeah, his family business is a funeral parlour.
Which he does as well. He's
helped his parent. I think his mum died young, and his dad is an undertaker. I don't know what they call them in America.
Undertaker?
I don't know.
Yeah, because there's a wrestler, undertaker.
Oh my god, same word. And he helps his father, but then he realises it's either take over the family business and stay in this little town forever, or do something different, and he didn't really know what to do.
So I think the most extreme thing to do was go into the Catholic Church to become a priest.
Yeah, and he's talking at the beginning with his friends and stuff, isn't he? And he doesn't really seem the sort to go into the priesthood.
Yeah, he's in a university, so the Catholic Church have paid for his tuition throughout, and it comes to a point where Toby Jones is in it as well, and he plays a priest.
He's only got a minor part, but he's a good actor.
He's a very good actor, and he decides to quit, but Toby Jones watches him as someone's knocked off a bike and they're dying.
It's almost though it's one of them. Did it happen for a reason? Because
the slight push of something.
He'd written in his resignation basically saying, "I haven't got the faith. I don't think I should do it."
Yeah.
And he
chases him, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he must get it. And he's walking down the street. It's really heavy rain, dark night. He crosses the road, and then the Toby Jones character crosses out, shouts after him, misses a cyclist. Sort of cyclist has to swerve to miss
him, and then gets hit by a truck.
By a car. Yeah, and it's a really bad accident. So the young guy, I can't remember what his name is.
No, I can't. It's Colin O'Donoghue. He plays the character, and he goes to the woman on the floor.
He gives her a last ride.
She asks for it, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And he is doing everything. And I think Toby Jones is watching on. He's like,
yeah, because he's hurt his leg.
You shouldn't leave this, because he seems to be quite good at what he does.
Yeah. And
he like comforted that woman as she died, as she passed away.
Yeah.
Didn't she? So. And
then he catches up with him a bit later on, and he sort of says, "Look, we may have to." It's kind of a bit of a blackmail, but saying, you you realise if you don't finish, you owe us
$100,000 or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say pound, but yeah, $100,000 of education, and he was a bit taken aback. And he said, but there could be a role for you. We have a bit of a niche role. And he said it's not for everybody.
And it's not widely known as well, is it?
Yeah, it's not a lot of people want it.
Yeah.
But the Catholic Church want exorcists.
In every parish?
Every parish. Or maybe every city, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Every state, possibly, because every parish would be a lot.
I think it was every parish.
Every parish would be loads.
I'm sure he said parish, because
Possibly,
I didn't think that they...
would be a ridiculous amount of exorcists. And off he goes to Rome. He considers it, and he goes to Rome.
I think he says as well, Toby Jones is like, you know, what you're going to Italy as well? Oh, you're going to Rome, so what can be bad about that?
And we're introduced to Anthony Hopkins' character.
Yeah, via the teacher who is teaching the exorcism class. And because this guy doesn't have any faith, and he's quite open about it, he's like, well, they're just faking being
Yeah,
possessed.
they challenge it. It's quite openly challenging, which I like, because I'm a bit of a challenger.
Well, you have to. You can't just take things on blind faith. Well, I suppose that's what this
film
was about.
Blind faith. You have to.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not religious, can you tell?
Yeah, so like you say, his lecturer at the university puts him in contact with Anthony Hopkins. He's an exorcist working in Florence, a small town outside of Florence. And he kind of gets his first taste for it, doesn't he?
Yeah, but the first thing the kid, or is it the woman?
It's the woman. There's a woman comes in who's pregnant. She's only very young. I mean, she doesn't look very young, but she's meant to be very young. And she seems quite normal. And he says a few things over her, and she doesn't look possessed, really.
But that's the point, isn't it?
And then he says this thing, and the priest in May training notices a bracelet that she's got on.
It's the same.
And it's a bracelet that years ago, when he was helping his father, because this was a bit at the beginning.
Yeah, when he was an undertaker.
In the funeral home, there was a young sort of lady who died, and she had the same bracelet. And it sort of reappears a couple of times, doesn't it? This certain thing. And he finds it in his pocket, and there's all sorts of weird. And he sort of says to Anthony Hopkins, "What did you do? Is that it?" And he's like, "Well, she's not cured." He's like, "This can take years." And
he said he uses the line, "What we were expecting, pea soup, head spinning, stuff like that."
He calls the hospital later. And he gets through to his dad, and he's talking to his dad, but his dad sounds really confused and saying he doesn't,
like he's in pain,
he's scared or something. Yeah. And then the doctor comes on the phone. He goes, "I'm really sorry to tell you, your dad died last night."
Yeah,
and he's
6
like,
o'clock or something.
"Yeah,
like
he didn't. I've just talked to him." And he's like, "You haven't talked to him. He passed away. I'm so sorry." And then he comes out of his room, doesn't he? Because he hears something stomping around his, like, outside.
Yeah, and there's snow on the ground.
Yeah, and there's hoof prints.
Going all the way around and then into the building.
Yeah.
And he goes out and has a little vision.
He has a vision, and then he kind of comes to.
And the snow's gone, the vision's gone.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what's going on.
But he can't, and that's when he realises, I think, I always say, your ass falls out. His ass falls out because he realises
something's going on.
There's some truth to it, something bizarre that he can't explain has just happened. He then goes back to Anthony Hopkins, who's living in this little apartment.
Yeah.
And the girl comes back, doesn't she? And they're trying to exercise her.
She's in hospital, isn't she? Because the baby's... Does the baby die?
No, I think she comes back again, and she says more stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, thingy," but then she's then admitted to hospital because she tried to drown herself.
Ah, yes.
And her and the baby die. I mean, you don't see it, but it still gets you.
No, it does.
It's horrible because she's really heavily pregnant.
Yeah, it goes out of its way to being like, this is again realistic.
And that Anthony Hopkins says that's what they want. That's what it wanted. That's all it wanted. It was just playing, and it got bored, and it's moved on.
Well, what's interesting is Anthony Hopkins blames himself for not helping in time, not being able to rid the demon from inside her.
Yeah.
And from that, we get probably the main part of the story.
Yeah, it then creeps into him.
It's in him, and he's
probably
possessed.
Because his faith is shaken by what's happened. And then you find out the girl's faith was shaken because her own father had raped her.
Yeah.
And that's why she was pregnant. So it's like it finds that the weakness in the armour, whatever it is, and it'll go. And then Anthony Hopkins starts acting really strange, doesn't he? You see a little kid comes over and says, "Father, Father," and he just
bless my dolly.
Smacks her. Like absolute cracks her one, doesn't he? He's right.
And walks off.
But then, the character, I can't think of his bloody name, we did watch it a couple of days ago, to be fair. He realises he's the one who's going to have to...
He can't get hold of his lecturer, who is an exorcist, and it's now down to him to exorcise the demon from Anthony Hopkins. And there was a scene earlier on where he's in the lecture hall, and they say the power of the name over the demon is control. So if you can get the name of the demon, you can control it. And they actually do have like a moment where they're showing images of the demons, and a certain demon comes up, and then there's a massive power cut. So it's almost like, you know, oh, which demon could it be? But it is, and this demon's the one that's sort of haunting the young priest.
Yeah, it's
like provoking him, really.
Yeah, it's toying with him, isn't it? And saying stuff like about before he became into the priesthood. And
yeah, it's funny because, like, the demon does get into Anthony Hopkins, but the demon can't get into the young priest. Why is that? Is that because he doesn't believe, or
he didn't have faith at that point?
But so what? So that means if you don't have faith, you can't get.
No, I don't.
Possessed?
I don't know. I wouldn't even pretend to begin to understand Catholicism and religion and demons. But I just thought it was an interesting story.
It was.
Yeah.
There's
Anthony
some
Hopkins
good stuff. Yeah.
is very scary, and the makeup is very good.
Yeah.
Because it's a very short period where he's possessed and they try to get him back.
Yeah, it's quite
and it's
held back for a horror film.
It's not it's more psychological, and it isn't the stupid head spins. You do get the jerky body and the sort of
some cracking bones. I can't remember.
Because his arms get pulled right back.
Oh,
and stuff,
yeah.
But the rest of it is just sort of trying to belittle and intimidate. But he does. He gets the demon's name.
Yeah.
And
it's Baal.
Yeah, and he
exercises it, and it's worked. And I think the trailer says that it's based on a true story. So it might be based on a true story following this priest. I'm not too sure. I'd have to look into it.
A lot of things say it's based on a true story.
Yeah, that's true. I know. But it could be, like I say, it could be based on the priest going to get the exorcism training.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I find stuff like this from when I was very young. Certain things I can sit and watch won't faze me. I could go to sleep on my own in a haunted castle and, it won't bother me. But demons and possession really scared me when I was little. And I still find it disturbing, I think, because I think if you do believe, if you are a person of faith,
then you believe all that's out there.
You believe in God, and you believe lots of people believe in angels and guardian angels. You've then got to believe that there's a yin, there's a yang. You've got to believe.
Oh, that's it.
You've got to believe that there's both.
Because that's the turning point in the film. The young priest is failing in the exorcism, and he then turns to the demon because if what he's seen, everything that's happened to him, and he turns to him and says, well, I believe in you, so that means I believe in God as well, and that's where he gets the power from to be able to use,
because that's his own sort of coming to not to
so it's not just reading words from a Bible, he's actually being able to believe that those words will affect
work.
And
but that's true. I've heard that a few times, that you can, if you've got faith and you believe in the good side, and we've all got a guardian angel, and you find a feather and all that. Loads of people believe that. Nothing wrong with that. I think eat horses for courses. But you should, if you believe that, you're going to have to believe that there is something to counter that, isn't there? And it is. I think it's interesting. I think it's a really interesting subject. It was an interesting film, wasn't an amazing film. It was good.
I enjoyed it.
Scary in parts, and Anthony Hopkins I thought was very good.
And he comes out in his Welsh accent.
He starts doing his Welsh
the little boy going, I can't remember what he says now, going down to the fair.
Yeah. He's good. I do like Anthony Hopkins. He's just come out recently in an interview saying he's ready to die type. Not in a horrible way that he wants to die, but he's saying, he's 80, I think he's 80 odd, 85, and he sort of said, if I have to go, I've lived my lifetime. I'm like, you think he can't go anywhere. Anthony Hopkins.
What would you give it? How many pumpkins from your pumpkin patch? I'm keeping that. I
would give it a 7. I think it's
7?
I think it's a solid film. I enjoyed it. I probably would in a few years watch it again if it was on. It's not one of the ones where I think, oh no, I don't want to watch that.
But to be honest,
and the acting is good.
It is,
it's a good
it is
story,
good,
and it stays away from the usual cliche, head spinning and all the rest of it.
I'd give it an 8. I enjoyed it. It was a good little rewatch, and like I say, I didn't really remember it from the last time I watched it, but
it's not dead memorable. That's what I mean. Even though I've given it a 7, it's good. it's not one where you will never forget that film. It's not an outstanding film, but it's a clever film.
Yeah, it does its job.
Yeah. And Rutger Hauer's good in
Rutger Hauer, he's only in it for a little bit, isn't he?
Now as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's the father.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, if you're watching. Please click subscribe if you want to hear more of our little rambles through horror films throughout October. And if you've got any suggestions, let us know in the comments. So sleep tight, everybody.